Hello and welcome to Fierce. This program celebrates the diversity of LGBTIQ identities and perspectives. Fierce is produced in Bundjalung Country at 2NCR Lismore and can also be heard on podcast at fiercefm.podbean.com and in New Zealand on Fresh FM, as well as all over Australia through the Community Radio Network.
Fierce FM on Spotify and YouTube.
I want to honour the traditional owners of the lands where you are living. They took care of these lands for thousands and thousands of years and then shared this land with us at great cost to their own lives. I want to thank them for the care they have given and continue to give, to sit on the earth, listen and care for country. I also want to thank the fairies and crones who came before us in history to fight for our human right to love fiercely.
Oh, Michael Henry's here! We would knew that him as a gay comedian from LA. And he's an actor and a writer of comedy vids with a queer narrative. Over 200,000 subscribers on YouTube.
You look beautiful.
So tell us about, thank you. Michael, what are your pronouns?
Go by he, him, his, but you could call me anything.
Sweetie. Your character in your YouTube videos, and people can find that by looking up Michael Henry.
Yeah.
You're playing the same character all the time. You're playing yourself, and I was really intrigued to see you here today and see, oh, I wonder if he used that personage in real life as well as in his videos. But I imagine there's different sides of you that you don't show in the videos.
Right. You know, that's like the most entertaining version of myself. High energy. Basically, it's all still versions of my opinions, but it is fiction to an extent. Sometimes I want to play another person's point of view on a topic, so I'll play that. The topics are all stuff that I've hoed and hummed over and thought about a lot.
You often seem to be taking the soft left point of view.
I don't really talk about politics at all, really. There's still so much to talk about when it comes to gay men and queer people that I have my plate full with topics.
Yeah, I love how you do that. For example, gender. How are you feeling about using pronouns they and them? I know Jason finds it challenging.
Yeah. And I think it's a conditioning thing with me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking of two people, you know, in my head. So
it's a learning curve, you know. And just because we're queer people doesn't mean that we get stuff right off the bat. I'm learning things all the time.
You grew up a femboy, experienced a little bit of bullying at school.
Oh, totally.
Were you out and proud and bold back then as well?
No. I was very insecure about myself until, honestly, probably until I moved to LA. Even throughout most of college, I felt very insecure. I still feel insecure. It's not easy. Elementary school and high school and even a lot of college, I definitely just always felt like I didn't belong, a misfit. I always saw other people talking and I was like, why can't I just talk like a regular person? Why do I have to stand out? It took a really long time for me to be like, okay, being unique is, you know, actually a special thing. A lot of people are really boring and I'm not boring.
creating that love for yourself and getting that confidence and that strength and getting out there and just doing it.
Exactly. I mean, it's really easy as a queer person to feel powerless because other people are bringing you down. Then once you realize that you have talents and crafts and a point of view, then you start to regain your power and it's a good feeling. But it takes time.
That's right.
Were you one of those children that was making little videos?
I was in drama club and I did a lot of plays. I always wanted to be a theater actor and I just couldn't wait to be like a serious actor in New York. But I'm not suited for that. Wait, maybe one day.
Not?
My natural inclination is just to humor. I've always been kind of a humorous person, and now that I found a way to weave in issues and topics that I find that some people can think of as heavy, if I can intertwine it with humor, I think it makes it more relatable.
Someone might find you and say, this is what we want, you know, put it into the movie. Boom. They'll ring you, bring it on.
Exactly. Hey, and I'm here and I'm available and I've got time.
Does that happen to you? Because people see your YouTube channel and they offer you shows?
Not yet. I mean, I feel like the industry out here in Los Angeles, there's like 5 gay actors that they still kind of go to and they get the roles. I'm still pounding the pavement in that department. People in Australia know who I am, but sometimes I don't even think the executives at the networks here know who I am. That could be a frustration for me, but I know there's going to be some homo in charge somewhere one day that gives me everything I want.
We're going to cut to a bit of your video, Pretty Privilege.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called pretty privilege.
Pretty privilege?
Pretty privilege. It's a scientific term used by doctors. It's what happens when you have a really great face, a full head of hair, sexy eyebrows, tight ass, quarter-sized nipples, 8-inch penis. It's all the traits that gay men unanimously like, and I happen to have all of them.
I don't know if I like all of those qualities, honestly.
Well, you wouldn't get pretty privilege.
Why is that?
Well, you have to be born into it, like me. This one time in college, I was chatting with my physics professor in my car, behind the old abandoned Chili's. I was feeling really insecure, and I said to myself out loud, one day, I'm gonna move to Los Angeles, grow out my facial hair for 3 days, wear nothing but sexy tank tops to show off my nipples. And you know what he said to me?
What did he say to you?
He said, you're already wearing a tank top. And I thought, wow, I have pretty privilege.
Sounds epic.
Yeah, but it has disadvantages too, you know. It's not all roses, money, and cock.
Oh no. Like, how so?
Well, I'm always invited to sex parties that I don't have time for. People just offer me drinks, drugs, jobs. I always have to update my Amazon wish list because it keeps getting fulfilled. Money just gets Venmoed to me randomly. People always ask me for my OnlyFans page, and I don't have one yet. And you know, just once, I would like to know how it feels like to have to go in for a job interview.
It sounds like you're bragging.
I'm not. I once tried stand-up, and everyone just started jerking off.
Anyway, free things sound great. I love getting free things.
Yeah, I mean, you probably get free healthcare.
I don't.
Remember that physics professor I was telling you about?
Well, yeah, it was just a minute ago that you brought him up.
He gave me an A-. I never even showed up to class. I mean, he did touch my inner thigh, but...
So you think there are disadvantages to the privilege and the advantages that you feel that you've received from your looks?
Yeah, my pretty friends and I talk about it all the time. It's really sad.
Honestly, I think you sound like a moron.
I am not.
I don't feel bad for you. I don't think that you're privileged, and I don't think that you should be whining about your perceived advantages to what you think is better looking than other people.
But look at me. People are intimidated by the way I look.
Okay, well, I'm funnier than you and maybe some other people, but I'm not going to go around acting like it's full of problems.
It's science.
I don't know about that. But I do think that you're right, that the people that look like people in pornos and underwear ads and TVs and movies maybe do get some special treatment and maybe some more attention. And maybe they did just click on this video because they like the way that you looked in your signature tank top. And don't get me wrong, I think that you should be confident and proud with the way that you look, just the way I think everybody should. But you going on about the taxing disadvantages that you think that there are is kind of cringeworthy to listen to.
Well, fine. You're funny privileged and I'm pretty privileged. We're both equally privileged.
Sure. But pretty fades and I'm gonna be funny forever.
Pretty fades.
Your value is based off of the way that you look out here. Los Angeles, that's the law of the land, and you kind of have to work double time if people don't say you look like a model to make a name for yourself. People will roll out the red carpet for you if you have a six-pack and nice shoulders. But I'm going to be funny forever, and their abs are not going to last forever.
That's exactly right.
Well, where we live in the rainbow region of us, northern New South Wales, Australia, the older queer people come to live and enjoy in nature. It's very different to being in the city. Like, for example, I was in Sydney, and I imagine LA being a bigger city than Sydney is the pretty privilege would be so strong. Also, my attraction was to that real mask because that's what I was being told to be attracted to, I guess.
Of course. I totally relate to that. I think every gay person, their sex education is mostly through porn. And who do we see in porn? It's masked-looking guys with masculine bodies, with muscles and stuff. So that's definitely been something to unlearn. In Los Angeles, it's the hunkiest of the hunkiest men. Not only is it about hookups, you get work and jobs and you book acting work because of it. So it's such a mind warp because you feel like you're not getting the hookups, but you're not getting the work because that they still pick those people over other people. It can mess with you.
What have you done to support yourself?
I write a lot. I go on a lot of walks. I have a therapist. I know that I'm funny. I know that I'm talented. I know that I have a craft that I'm good at. So having confidence in that area and having people like you, like people in Australia or people around the world that message me and tell me that they really enjoy what I'm doing, not just because it makes them laugh, it just makes them happier. Even I have those hunky guys telling me, sometimes they're depressed and they watch my videos and it makes them happy. I feel like I have a power now.
And it's gold, Michael. Sometimes you will see a hunky man and whatever comes out of their mouth, it doesn't make it attractive to me.
Exactly.
So personality and being true to who you are, that's what attracts me.
Lucky for me.
Yeah.
And I find you very attractive. And I think, Peter, I find you attractive.
Thank you. I'll have to come and visit. I mean, I definitely would love that validation.
Definitely.
You're a hot child in the city. A hot child in the
I do
city.
love that song. I remember being like 21 in New York City and just running around and being like, okay, yeah, this song's about me. I mean, when you're 21, New York, is there any better city to run around in?
Oh, well, I've been in New York twice. Once when I was 20 and once when I was 35. And they were completely different cities. And when I was 20, I'd hang out in Times Square and it was all porno theaters and double features. It was crazy. When I was 35, it was Disneyland.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I still know some dangerous places to take you to.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
You do know. You are a hot child in the city, aren't you?
Exactly.
We're staying at your place.
Exactly.
Danger in the shape of something wild. Stranger dressed in black, she's a hungry child. No one knows who she is or what her name is. I don't know where she came from or what her game is. Hot child in the city. Hot child in the city. Running wild and looking pretty. Hot child in the city. So young to be loose and on her own. Young boys, they all want to take her home. She goes downtown, the boys all stop and stare. When she comes downtown, she walks like she just don't care. Yeah. Hot child in the city. Hot child in the city. Running wild and looking pretty. Yeah. Hot child in the city. Come on down to my place, baby. We'll talk about love. Come on down to my place, woman. We'll make love. Hot child in the city. Hot child in the city. She's kinda dangerous. Hot child in the city. A young child. Running wild and looking pretty. Young child. Running wild. Hot child in the city. 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 Hot child in the city.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michael Henry. I'm a comedian, writer. Check me out on YouTube. You are listening to Fierce FM, my favorite Australian radio station.
Hot child in the city.
What's your kink?
I have one. I like feet. Feet! I love musky feet, right out of the gym feet. Sweaty, nasty, rank sweat feet.
That's good.
Squashed on my face.
Okay, I like choking.
Choking?
I just love how it feels when a guy applies a massive amount of force or pressure to my neck till my eyes hurt. Like, I want marks, I want tears, I want fear coursing through my veins. If I'm not gasping for life, like, I can't even climax.
What about you, Michael? What are your kinks?
I like holding hands.
Holding hands?
Yeah, like if I'm walking next to a guy that I'm into and he goes to reach for my hand and looks me in the eyes and gives me like a little wink or a smirk or a squeeze. I melt into like a puddle.
I melted into a puddle once. I was at a bukkake party downtown.
Bukkake!
And whoever drew the shortest straw had to get on their hands and knees, and guess what?
What?
I drew the shortest straw.
Oh no!
Are you kidding me? I won. They laid down a tarp for me, and I was just taking squirt after squirt after squirt until I was drenched in squirt.
That's hot.
And then they took the excess squirt from the tarp and poured it all over my head. It was the best Valentine's Day ever.
Your videos feels like there's a whole community of improvisers getting together. Did you all meet at impro class?
I've been in LA for so long, and I've taken so many improv classes and performed so many places that I've met so many hilarious gay performers, and we became friends. And over time, I just kept asking various ones, do you want to be in my videos? So we became friends really from my videos, but most of them are people that I had seen perform that I thought were just so funny. And I was like, oh, they'll want to be my friend more if I put them in videos or something. So we developed friendships basically from me asking them to work with me. We kind of have little series together just because when they come back, people are like, oh my God, I'm so happy to see that person back.
Fun that you have so much fun together.
The fun outweighs any work it is. It doesn't even feel like work.
You have a lot of really hot bodies in your videos.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of very good looking men there. I'm wondering whether you're ever tempted to play the casting couch game.
I mean, I don't think that ever works out well for anybody, but I'm lucky enough that I know so many gay men that most of them are just so beautiful, and they're willing to showcase it.
Tell us about Paul McGovern Jr. He features in several videos. He's also often the director and often the editor of your videos. Are you in love with Paul?
Oh, how could you not be in love with Paul? He's a sweetheart. So talented. I absolutely adore working with him. And all the gays that watch love him too. Everybody's like, I want more Paul. I want more Paul. He has a fan base. We met in a Facebook group. I was like, I want to make YouTube videos and I need help with the production. And he's the only one that responded. So there you go.
I've got an idea for you, Michael. When you do a stand-up, do a bit of research on fairies, and you can have a whole big scene about fairies.
I would love that. I mean, I didn't know that. I really only knew of fairies in one way, but now I'm glad that fairies are versatile.
Very.
People be going, what? Fairies?
And so what about OnlyFans?
Oh,
That's a good way to monetize your videos.
Oh, boy. If I ever wanted to switch lanes, that would definitely be an avenue to go down. I hear people on OnlyFans make hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean,
in a minute.
In a minute, you know. If things are not looking so hot for me right here, then I'll switch over. I mean, why not?
Sometimes I go to click on one of your videos to have a laugh, and it turns into being an ad for a sex toy. And so they're hoping that you're getting paid good money for those ads.
I'm doing good for people also. Everyone needs to know about sex toys. I'm a hustler. I have to hustle also, you know. I have to make sure I'm paying Paul handsomely.
Well, so Paul's paid, you get paid.
Yeah, nothing's free in
Win-win.
this world.
We talked about OnlyFans making lots and lots of money. Are you comfortable with making a good living?
I'm sure the people making OnlyFans are making more than me. I earn enough to pay my bills and pay my rent, and I'm okay.
And that's right, Michael. And you never know what's around the corner, you know. Movie, tour Australia,
Oh my
big
God.
show. Michael Henry!
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I watched The Real Housewives of Melbourne, and I really wish I could be there because they're so entertaining.
My God, I never knew there was such a show. That's amazing. Of Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, The Real Housewives. They're hilarious, but they're pretty epic.
And so, can I ask you a question about love, Michael?
Of course.
Tell me about your love life and what you've learned about self-love and love with others.
Self-love is actually super important. That's why I tell people that they need a therapist. They give you the tools to really figure out how to love yourself properly and how to build yourself up and not always rely on another person to build you up and make you feel good about yourself. You know, I meditate every day and every night. I go on walks. I really hone in on enjoying spending time with myself. I do my best to not feel lonely, especially during these times when you can't really socialize as much as you used to. You really have to know how to enjoy spending time with yourself. So thankfully, I have the tools to do that, and I practice it. So I love myself. I spend time with myself. I think I'm funny. But love with other people, that's harder. there's a lot more trust and a whole other can of worms involved. Like, I've never had a boyfriend in my life. That was my goal for this year. We'll see if it happens. You have to love yourself first.
Your biggest relationship is to yourself. Yeah.
Thanks. I mean,
Awesome.
you're with yourself all the time. You have to enjoy yourself.
You wouldn't be able to do the work you do and have the empathy and the caring for community that you have without having this earlier part of your life wanting that and not achieving it easily. It's made you who you are, and it's inevitable that you will find that. And things get better as you get older. You're still young. They definitely get better regarding all those things. Yeah, it took me 52 years to find love, really. So
Yeah.
won't take you because you're a star, darling.
So are you. I appreciate that.
Do you have any thoughts around the world coming back to how we used to be, or do you think we're going to be living with this virus that we will never get together in those white parties that you described in a video? I'm not just a tight hole for some construction worker to finger in a white party.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I like it that you laugh at your own jokes.
I hope to God that we're able to get back to that. In America, I don't know what it's like over there, but Trump keeps saying we're getting a vaccine, we're getting a vaccine. But a vaccine is not a magic wand, you know.
And the nasties that are in them.
What about Trump and his transphobia? And over here on the social media and the soft left people and the conspiracy theories, it's like they're taking on all this stuff about Hillary Clinton being a Satanist and Trump is going to save everyone from pedophiles. And all the other presidents have had wars and Trump's never had a war and stuff like this. What's true?
I mean, that's a good question. At this rate, it is really hard to decipher what's real and what's not. I can really see his character when he talks, and I know that's someone that I really don't like and would want to associate with. I would not want him to be president again, even just solely based off of that. He's a narcissist, and he constantly doesn't make any sense. It's lies. I mean, he's a liar. He's a known. They've tracked his lies. I do think that politicians in general are liars, and, you know, it's a whole game. Out here, they say politics is like Hollywood for ugly people.
And I think we're all awake up to that now.
Especially with social media. And every word someone says is going to be online. You can't get away from anything. If politicians before Trump, I'm sure lied a lot also, but I don't think anywhere near as much as Trump, and it's tracked so much now.
Dream big.
Thank you. I think I might.
Listeners want to check out your videos or find you anywhere. Where can they go?
Just go to Michael Henry 915. That's me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. And then if you just go to YouTube and search Michael Henry, I'll pop up.
I imagine there must be 100 Michael Henrys.
Just type Michael Henry gay. I'm the only gay one.
Awesome. What do you say to the LGBTIQ community?
Love yourself. Enjoy yourself. We're on this planet to enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the people you're around. It's definitely easy to get stressed and upset and get toiled up in life's stresses about and feeling like an outsider. But enjoy yourself.
Fear and love.
Yeah.
Let's choose love.
Yep.
We love you.
I
It
love
was
you
great
both.
talking to you.
Thank you so much for coming on to Fierce.
Well,
Thanks,
you for
Mike.
having me.
What song would you like us to play?
My favorite Madonna song. Oh, Material Girl.
Really? Material Girl. Why that song?
I like Opulence.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, Michael. Mwah. They're beautiful.
Always Mr. Right, 'cause we are living in
Thank you for listening to Fierce. This program celebrates the diversity of LGBTIQ identities and perspectives. Fierce is produced in Bundjalung Country at 2NCR Lismore and can also be heard on podcast at fiercefm.podbean.com and in New Zealand on Fresh FM, as well as all over Australia through the Community Radio Network. Fierce FM on Spotify.